Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be sharing some life lessons, things I learned from 30 days of yoga. So for the month of January, I committed to practicing yoga for every day of the month. And after practicing yoga for 30 days, I noticed a major shift in my mindset, in my mood, in my physical body, and these were all positive shifts, positive changes that I noticed. And not only are these changes and things I learned related to yoga, but they're related to life in general. So these are life lessons that are applicable to anybody. Now, one of the things that people say about yoga is that you don't practice it to get better at the poses or, get better at doing yoga. You practice it to get better at doing life. So I'm actually going to be sharing with you guys 5 life lessons overall. But before we do that, and before I jump in, I am actually attending a class tonight, so I need to get going, and I will be back very soon to share those with you guys. Okay guys, so I'm just getting back from my yoga class. I just had dinner and I have my cute little Buddha mug with some peppermint tea, which is good for digestion in case you didn't know. So I did share earlier that I would be talking about 5 life lessons, things I've learned from showing up every day to yoga, whether it was at class or at my home. I practiced it every day for 30 days straight, and I did notice some tangible benefits. I think a lot of times people use the expression come out of your head or live in the moment. I hear this a lot also in yoga class, and when I first started going, I didn't exactly know what it meant, like tangibly, tactically, right? Like I knew the expression, I've used it myself before, but I didn't really understand how I could do that. I tend to be a very type A type person. What I noticed from practicing yoga is that I was a lot more aware. I noticed when my shoulders were clenching, if I started getting stressed out, if my jaw was tight, if I was holding any tension in my body or not breathing, because a lot of times, even in yoga, when you're doing a really difficult pose, you'll notice that your tendency is probably to hold your breath. And you do that in your everyday life. So if you're at work or driving in traffic, you will notice that you tend to tighten up or you tend to even hold your breath. And so really for me, what living in the present moment, experiencing the world around you means is just to be aware of your senses. So it's actually taking a look when you're at a new place or just anywhere. Take a look around you. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you notice physically within your body? Are you breathing? Take a second to kind of check in and feel your surroundings. The reason why this is a benefit is that when you are getting stressed out and you notice it early on, you can actually stop yourself. You can redirect your attention and energy into a more relaxed state, a more positive state before you kind of spiral down. Because I know the longer I'm holding my shoulders up, the more likely I'm probably going to get a sore neck or a headache after. Whereas if I'm aware, I can stop myself early on. Maybe it means I need to go for a walk at work or, have a cup of tea or just do whatever you like to do that kind of settles you and makes you feel a little more relaxed. We often hear people talk about balance in a way that makes it feel that it's something that you can just achieve and you check the box and you're done. But what I've learned is that that's likely not the case. It's something that you're always going to be working towards. So what I mean by this is that every day things are changing, you're evolving, the world around you is evolving and changing, and you will constantly need to check in, redefine what balance means in your life, because one day to the next day, 1 year to the next year, it's not going to look the same. Just like in yoga class when you are trying to do airplane pose or tree pose, and your leg is shaking and you're trying to hold yourself up, you're working towards it. It's not something that you one day can do and now you'll always be able to do it. I felt really strong some days, really steady and balanced, and then the next day I felt more shaky. So again, this is how yoga kind of translates into our everyday lives. So really what I've learned is that balance is not about mastery, but really just about this constant acceptance of life's changes and also your continuous journey to a state of feeling balanced in your life. So the third life lesson that I've learned from yoga is just to have gratitude for yourself and for your body. I think that in a world where people are constantly comparing themselves, judging themselves, holding themselves to really high standards, it's important to have a moment of acceptance, have a moment of self-compassion and forgiveness. And I think that yoga oftentimes allows you space to find that. And so it's actually funny because tonight's class was actually dedicated to the heart chakra, and so it was all about having this self-compassion, and the instructor talked a lot about yoga being one of the most selfless things that you can do because it allows you to be a better version of yourself. It allows you to be better to those around you, to love the ones that you love better. Because you've now taken care of yourself. I also think that when you practice yoga, you're seeing benefits for your physical body, so you're gaining strength, right? Some of these power classes and hot classes can be a definite workout for yourself. And so you're seeing benefits there, but it's also a practice for your mental health, for your mind. You're giving yourself space to digest things that are going on in your life, space to find clarity around what your priorities really are, and just overall forgiveness for where you've been, where you're at, and where you'd like to go in your life. Another really great thing about yoga is that it can be for anyone. So I remember another class where the teacher was saying that yoga is for everybody, literally everybody. And so it's kind of funny, but really there's different levels of classes. There's beginners all the way to extreme, like really hot power classes, yoga sculpt, that sort of thing. And so you can really find like what works for you. The fourth thing that I learned is that life just doesn't have to be that serious. So I think this is really helpful if you tend to be a type A type person like myself. It helps you loosen up. It's just very lighthearted. You almost feel like a kid again sometimes, and it brings that joy back into your life. It allows you to try new things, right? So there's going to be different sequences, different poses, different balances, headstands, things that you've never done before, and maybe you want to try it. It's a safe space to try new things, and if you mess up, then that's fine. You just get back up, and usually you're not that far away from the floor anyways, so if you fall down, it's not a big deal. The last thing that I want to share is that through yoga, you'll see results through dedication. So by showing up every day and finding consistency in your practice, that is when you'll start to notice major differences. And I think in a world where we just kind of expect things to be done instantly, we expect to see changes right away, yoga teaches you that you're never done, right? So you've never mastered it, you're never done learning, you're never done practicing. I think if you think about it like this, is that it's called practicing yoga for a reason, right? So even teachers, they still attend classes, they're still trying new poses. And honestly, even if they know how to do a certain pose, for example, like let's just pick crow, one day it may look different than the next day. And so again, it's like that balancing act that I talked about earlier. It's something that you're always going to have to work on and adjust over time. So just as yoga is this never-ending journey of constantly showing up, showing compassion and forgiveness to yourself, and trying your best, whatever your best looks like, life is the exact same way. And so there's so many connections to practicing yoga and living life in a more fulfilled and genuine way. So hopefully I've inspired you guys to give yoga more of a try. Another thing I'll say is that most times studios have a new member special, so they usually have the 30 days for $30. Doing the 30-day challenge really helped me commit to it, and it's something that I want to do in the months moving forward. So for March, for example, I am doing a meditation challenge for 2 weeks. So with that being said, I will just say thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. If you have any recommendations for me, then please leave them down in the comment section. I'd be happy to check them out. Thank you guys. Bye.